So you're asking me the questions.
I'm recording just so.
Okay, we'll just roll it.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't move around a little bit because I do shuffle a little bit.
That's all right. So you talked about many times you talked about the Great Reset happening, in terms of not only just in like the overall economy of everything, but also like in what we do in digital marketing. So would you mind kind of speaking to that and kind of what businesses should be, I guess, looking out for as all this is happening?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I think since the election, the whole world's been in kind of a reset mode. I mean, and then, you know, I think the current administration is mixing things up. They're shaking things up. You know, there's a giant renegotiation going on, and I think that's happening in business as well. So as things get tight at the top, everything gets shuffled down and realigned, and we're feeling that. And you know, one of the things about your brand voice is we have diverse clients in different sectors, whether it's construction or food and beverage or hospitality or event planning or, you know, you name it. So, you know, we can see different things happening, but what's common through all of them is everybody's kind of going through a reset, and that's actually a good thing. I mean, that's an opportunity to readdress, you know, your strategy. It maybe give you an opportunity to cut some fat if you need it, re-optimize, and that's kind of what, you know, every business needs. That's what every marketing strategy needs. That's what every relationship needs. It needs a reset. It needs a, you know, let's reevaluate what we've done. Let's reevaluate what we need, and let's reset. And you know, one of the things in digital marketing is, you know, Meta and Facebook, Instagram, and Google have all gone through this reset. In the last 12 to 18 months, their whole entire ad networks and platforms have changed. We've gone from, you know, this type of strategy to this type of strategy, and it's not because we wanted to, it's because the platform has changed. So the whole world's doing a reset, and this is a good thing because it's an opportunity that if you were kicking butt, you reset, you kick butt even more. If you were struggling, you reset and you change your fortune. So a reset is always good, and it's happening right now. That was all right. That was getting the juices flowing.
That was good. That was fine. One of the other components that we're starting, or not we're starting, but we've been leveraging is this concept of AI agents. Would you mind, I guess, briefly just explaining what those are, and then provide maybe some client examples and testimonials of how we're using them?
AI agents. You know, when I think about AI agents, I'm thinking about the future, and the future between like computers talking to each other. You know, right now we're experimenting with computer talking to a human, but soon it's going to be computer to computer. And you saw these little videos where the iPhone is talking to the other phone with, you know, one has Gronk on it, one has GPT on it, you know, and they're talking to each other. Well, in the future, that's going to happen a lot, you know, where a computer talks to a computer. But right now, the way we're deploying AI agents is we're putting them on the websites for insights, for customer service, for you know, tracking or converting. And so basically what it is it's a trained agent. It's a trained customer service representative that you can access either by calling, texting, or messaging, or visiting a website and creating a conversation through the chat. So there's a lot of different ways that you can, you know, leverage the chat bot AI agent, if you will. But the main thing to know about it is that you train it. And people ask me all the time, like, what do you mean you trained your bot? It's like, well, we have a bot and we trained it on, you know, who we are, what we do, who we do it for, specifics about how we do things, so that the frequently asked questions about our business and our industry, so that if someone has a question, the AI agent can answer it as if you're asking me. And that's so important if you're a business. You know, imagine, you know, you get so many phone calls to your business and the phone's ringing off the hook that sometimes you miss some calls. Well, the AI agent will never miss a call. And that's the beauty of it. But the future is computers to computers, where AI agents talk to other AI agents. And, you know, how does that look? Well, you could pull your Tesla maybe up to a McDonald's drive-through, and the car will, you know, talk to the McDonald's, and there's no real change of cash. It's like, you know, agent to agent, you know. Or you could order through the car, and it would just, you know, register with the restaurant, and then it would transact. Again, a computer to computer transactions. And I think that is the future. But right now, for us, it's computer to human conversations, as human-like as possible, to bring value to the visitor or the person engaging with it.
Cool. Could maybe speak about like either maybe like the Victoria example of the bot, or maybe the Kennedy one, just to kind of walk that through.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things, we had a client who, we activated their marketing, the phone lights up like a Christmas tree, tons of phone calls, and when you get a lot of phone calls, there might be some spam in there might be some people that are just asking a lot of questions that are not necessarily ready to buy, there might be people that are ready to buy, there might be people just picking your brain. There's just so many phone calls, right? And so as this marketing starts to get scaled up, those phone calls and the volume of phone calls obviously is going to increase. But so we had the clients like, how do we continue to drive the marketing, be aggressive and offensive and really drive the marketing, but also take the load off my phone calls? Is it, what is it? And so we, obviously we believe that it was a chatbot. And what the chatbot does is it kind of jumps in between the phone call and the question. So a visitor arrives, instead of calling for that answer, they can just chat with it, get the answer they need, and if they need more, they can, further with the call, or they can just say, I'll give her a call later when I need her. And so that's really reduced the volume of maybe not necessary calls and really put emphasis on the calls that needed attention in that moment. And again, the bottom line is the customer has a better experience in their business by maintaining the level of pace, but turning down a lot of the wasted time on the phone calls. We have another client who, in a similar situation, has a couple different types of customers. Residential customers, contractors, and so when you get a phone call, you've got to determine, are you a contractor or are you a residential? And if it's a residential customer, you might spend 15 minutes on the phone with them explaining to them how it works. Whereas a contractor, it's just like wham bam. This is what I need. I know what I need. I order it every day. I order it every week. So it's a quick call. So those are obviously more enjoyable to a call center than a 20-minute phone call for a small order for a homeowner. But you still need to give that homeowner the love, right? You still need to answer their questions. So the bot in this case helps provide that experience the customer desires on the residential side, giving them the information they need, but freeing up the call center to address those more important phone calls, the larger orders where they can just get through them quickly. And so the bot is taking the load. And then when the customer is ready, with the residential customer is ready, after all their questions, and believe me, the average call on a residential customer is 10, 12, 15 minutes, whereas a contractor might be 1 or 2 minutes, right? So once that 15, 20-minute education for the residential customer happens, then we can instruct the bot to move them closer to close, which is click here to order or move forward with the phone call here to confirm everything. So that's how we're using it. And I personally think that every business that has a presence online should have one of these bots.
The new thing now is these voice agents coming out. Do you see, I guess, us or what's your take on the AI voice agents?
I think AI voice agents are going to come. I think they're getting better every day, just like the AI itself, which is to me a phenomenon in itself. I mean, literally, when you use the AI every day, you see it getting better every day. And so I know voice is going to only get better. I don't use it every day, but I know it's getting better because somebody's using it every day, and any AI you use is getting better every day. It's just the way the AI has been built. So definitely think that voice is the future. However, if you use Gronk, you can talk to Gronk and it's very seamless, and you can actually have an enjoyable conversation with it to get information about your blood pressure or a movie coming out or how to do something. You can just talk to it, and I think that's extremely valuable because I think the value of AI is speaking to it. So voice is very, very much part of the AI future. However, we got to walk before we can run. So a lot of businesses that are jumping right to voice might be missing up on the opportunity to just have a simple but very intelligent bot on their site, and then as the need arises, add in that voice chat or that voice customer service agent. Because as these new technologies comes out, obviously they're getting better over time, but they're more expensive in the initial phase, right? There's a lot, and you're actually paying for the debugging, if you will. So I think it's a little bit immature, but it's definitely coming, and there's no way around it. And we'll definitely be there when it's ready for main for the big time.
Cool. Performance marketing, new playbook for 2025. I think it's a blog that you kind of worked on, but the old rules are dead. ROAs don't tell the full story. MER does. Kind of speak to that theme of performance marketing and how it's changed.
Yeah, so I was with a client today, and they have no online presence. They have zero online presence, and but they want to grow their business. So I've told them, let me break this up in two things. Let's get you an online presence. Let's make sure you're found. Let's make sure you look great online. And then let's activate the performance side of things, which will increase the visibility and drive the leads and engagement. But once we start to drive the leads and engagement, there's this common misconception out there that every dollar spent in marketing should generate an immediate return on investment. And in a capture, engage, nurture to sale type of world we live in, that doesn't make any sense, because we're constantly have to educate new prospects as to who we are and what we do. But at the same time, we've got to educate and continue to entertain our existing customers. So if you're only focused on return on investment, you're neglecting the fact that a certain portion of our budget is not designed to convert, but it's to engage, so that when they think about something, they think about us, versus trying to be there when they have an exact need, which is, the near me searches, like, I need a locksmith near me. Well, you need to be there, but if you were there in the last 3 months, they may not be looking for a locksmith near me because they know you already, because you've been engaging for 3 months, especially in a local community. So, the marketing playbook has changed. The AI has changed. Matter of fact, in the last 12 months, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta has basically required us to stop with interest-based targeting. Like, I want to target females between the ages of 21 and 38 that like, XYZ. That's a very specific person, a very specific interest and target. They've gone completely away from that, and they're basically saying create content for that audience, whatever that audience might be interested that you're selling, and then just release it to a broad market and let the people pick up the content and come to you. So in other words, instead of the targeting finding the audience, it's the content that finds the audience, and that's the biggest adjustment. I think TikTok had a big play in that, because if you've watched TikTok, I recently did a video search for these fiber optic drones, and just to kind of, because I was enamored by it, I watched one video. Next thing you know, my entire life on TikTok is fiber optic drones, and I don't necessarily need all of that, but that's how it works. You look for content, you get the content, then the content comes to you, or the businesses come to you. You want to take a picture of that so I can see it? All right, let's get to that. Let's get a little tighter. Just zoom in. I mean, he can do that and edit, but just get a little tighter for the next couple.
We've seen the saying, AI won't replace you, but someone using AI will. Do you think AI is helping or hurting digital marketing as a whole?
AI is definitely helping our industry, marketing as a whole. I mean, anybody who says that AI is hurting anything doesn't understand what it is there to do. It's there to make everything move faster, and make everything easier. But it's not perfect. Just like the world isn't perfect. So you have to know how to use it. So AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who knows how to use it will. That's a very, very true statement, because in every single job that exists on this planet, you can use AI to do it better. I don't care what you're doing. So figure out a way to incorporate AI into your business, no matter what it is. And so with us, marketing was one of the first to benefit from AI. I mean, writing headlines, writing copy, coming up with ideas. All of that really supports marketing. And I had a little dispute with my dad this morning, where, he's a former Walt Disney World marketing executive and McDonald's marketing guy, and he's a classic marketing professional back in the heyday of marketing. And I said to him today, marketing geniuses like you are dead in today's world. And no, he didn't like to hear that. But I didn't mean marketing geniuses are dead. He's obviously still alive and well. But what I mean is that it's changed from marketing genius with all these ideas to marketing technologist that knows how to connect the dots. And then if you believe what I said about content finds the audience, then all you do is stop, run a camera in front of the target, and let the target explain the who, what, when, where, and why, and then release it to the wild, and the customers will come in. And that is the marketing playbook of 2025. And unfortunately for marketing scholars, that's not where the universe is today. The universe isn't with marketing strategy and marketing ideas and all this other stuff. And I didn't get trained in that. My training is in communications. So I'm benefiting from not being like a Madison Avenue typical marketing person, and more of a technology connect the dots type of marketing group.
I guess on this, I've seen a lot of like the AI ads, like fully automated ads. Meta says ads will be automated by whatever in a few years.
Yeah.
Like you can just put it in and your content, and it can just spit out whatever. And generate the investments. So
right.
I guess kind of speak to that, and where I guess to try to convince like the business owner not use an agency. I guess because they could hear that and say, oh, I can just do it myself.
Well, that's the whole point of these ad networks today is they are do-it-yourself. They want to make it easy for small businesses, but there's always a way to plus it up. There's always, no matter what you can do on your own, there's always somebody out there that can plus it up. So as marketing becomes do-it-yourself, there's always somebody there that's going to do it a little better, and that's where the advantage is, right? So right now, what we're seeing is, even when I started Your Brand Voice, there was a lot of technicality to building ads. Right, you had to build this type of ad with this type of thing, this kind of target, this kind of thing, this kind of thing, and this thing, and that's still there, and that's still going on. But really, what Mark Zuckerberg and Google and all these platforms, TikTok, want you to do is they want you to simply load the content and hit start, set a budget, and start. That's it. That's all they want you to do because they believe that the AI will find the target, and I believe that. I mean, it's not hard to know that I like Pittsburgh, and then behind Pittsburgh is XYZ, and you also like Pittsburgh, so there might be a connection there, and AI is doing that, in infinite number of connections, and it's finding the target. So what I give the best example to the way that the future of digital ads is right now is Google's Performance Max. Google's Performance Max. Google's Performance Max simply says, give me a geo-target, give me some signals, your customers, give me some competitors, give me some headlines, give me some photos, give me some headshots, give me some vertical video, give me some square video, give me some horizontal video, and then hit start and come back in a week or two. That's it. They don't show you any other metrics other than your impressions and your clicks and your click-through rate and your cost, and you're expected to trust them that they're going to deliver the results. Now, for micromanaging advertising managers and executives and business leaders who want to see all that, that's going to be hard to describe because you've got to trust the AI. And I'm a big believer. I've executed these programs. I've seen the results. I don't question it. I feed it what it wants, and I let the results happen.
So you kind of spoke on the Performance Max. You speak to like how YouTube videos are essential for like SEO and like local communities. Like I guess starting maybe the Victoria example of when she was running for office, or maybe even like OSS.
So I think all marketing is local. Local marketing. It doesn't matter if you're McDonald's, you're still marketing local. It doesn't matter if you're Nike, you're still marketing local. And what Google is doing is they're moving everything to more localized marketing. So they're giving local brands like pizza stores and taco shops and marketing agencies and you name it, daycare centers, leverage these high profile and powerful distribution networks like YouTube and mobile, display, etc. in search, which was usually way out of touch for these smaller businesses. A, that was too complex, but B, it was too expensive. Now they can deploy what's called Performance Max, benefit from being everywhere at all times, but in a smaller radius, which is their coverage zone. You're not going to drive past 50 daycare centers unless there's a good reason. You're going to get a daycare center that's near your home that you love, and so that localized marketing is what's going to make that local business pop. So I don't like what I'm saying here. I'm going to start over. Okay. I don't like what I'm saying there. So what was the question again?
Why are YouTube videos essential for local?
Well, I mean, everything is local. Marketing is local, and Performance Max allows a local business or any business for that matter that wants business locally, to leverage the big ad platforms and capabilities down to a local size business. So it's called Performance Max, and essentially you load it up with the assets, you define the target, you define the competitor, you define the customer if you can load that in there, and then the AI goes and says, all right, if these are your customers, if these are your competitors, if these are your signals, these is your location, those are your reviews, here are the customers who are interested in you, and then they display it enough where there's ad recall lift, meaning people are seeing you enough where it becomes something that they consider in their decision making. And believe me, there is a frequency at which an ad or a brand appears before it becomes a brand name, right? So you have to have frequency. Showing one ad one time to one person is not doing anything. So Performance Max, what it does is it takes that zone that you're interested in, you define, and it makes sure that your ad, your brand, your videos, your location, your reviews is pervasive in that audience. And then if you trust it and let it run long enough, that AI will by just showing your ads at the right time to the right person for the right reason, start building momentum for your business. And you'll start to see it in website traffic, phone calls, inquiries, and obviously in the cash register, net bottom line profit.
Why is it important for any business, regardless of what industry they might be in, to, one, I guess, have a website, but two, to create and have a constant blog going, maybe whether it's once a month, twice a week? What are the importance of creating blogs and having that central online presence?
So I think that, I think everybody's on the same page that you need a website now, and so having a website's important. But one of the signals that Google looks for in their algorithm to showcase your website in the search results is updates. The website needs updates so that it can get indexed, and not only get indexed more frequently, but also for more things, right? And so if you've got a 10-page website and you never add any pages or add any content, you got 10 focus keywords basically that your site can be found for. So we like to build more pages so that Google and AI today has more training information to display your brand when it's called upon, right? So that's kind of the thing. So blogs give you an opportunity to do that, create more content on your website. But I look at a blog as a place on the internet to document the journey you're on, right? Every day in your business, there's an industry update. You have a new win inside your business. Maybe you have a new hire you want to showcase. Maybe there's a new product you're launching, a new menu. Something's going on, and you've got to become a media organization. Whereas you're your biggest fan, you're shouting from the rooftops on all the wonderful things you're doing. You've got to become a media agency. So a blog allows you to document that in basically an order. And then what we like to do is, as our customers are doing amazing things, we just create content from it. We say that's worthy of a blog, or that's worthy of a video, that's worthy of all three. We create that, we document it, and then when we get to go to do our newsletter, we go, what are we going to do a newsletter on this month? Well, we look at our last 4 or 5 blogs, and that's our email. And we have a landing page, we link to it, and now our customers are getting our updates in a sequential format, in a way that they can read more, doesn't overwhelm them. So all while Google's picking it up, while AI is being trained. So blogs are still instrumental. The problem is that blogs' value in terms of their effectiveness, in terms of all of the noise that's out there, has gone down because you've got TikTok, you've got short form videos, you've got all this other stuff. So blogs' value has gone down versus like 20 years ago where a blog was really the only place you could go to find information. So now there's so many places the blog value has gone down, but if you use it properly, still a massive tool for your business.
The 10 and 5 rule in hospitality I have here.
10 and 5 rule, yeah.
Could you kind of speak to that in your hospitality background, then also kind of apply to the
So,
digital?
I got 3 daughters at home, and sometimes they're so focused on other things. I call it la la land, that they bang their head into a wall, or you ask them a question, they go, huh? And more than not, that's what they do. And so I try to teach them the 10-5 rule of hospitality, because what that does is it helps you pick your head up. When we were in hospitality, if you walk through the hallways with your head down, that wasn't a very good representation of the hospitality that you were providing as a guest services agent. You know, you wanted to walk through the hallway proud, you know, standing tall, and as someone was approaching you, greet them with a, you know, some type of nonverbal communication, a nod, you know, just a wink, anything to just, you know, acknowledge your presence. And then as they got to 5 feet, that's where you say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And just that 10 and then 5, that 10 feet and 5, that little bit of engagement really set the tone for, you know, what I call like good hospitality energy, right? Like, I'm not buried in my phone. I'm not focusing on any of that. I'm aware of my surroundings. I see you. I acknowledge you. And that just creates a real welcoming environment in hospitality. Well, imagine in your daily life as you're walking through a mall or walking through a school or walking through a business or a hallway, having this play out every day in your life is not going to only just help bring you out of La La Land, which is in this fog of, you know, oblivion, but it's going to allow you to engage with your surroundings, make a bigger impact on the people that you're around, and they're going to say, man, saw that guy or girl, and yeah, man, they were, you know, they smiled at me, and they just get a better vibe, you know. So the 10-5 rule of hospitality, something I learned at Hyatt, I'll never forget.
We always talk about sports. We love sports. We always talk about being athletes. But you also mentioned the corporate athlete. Kind of speak to what that is as a concept, and yeah, just speak to that a little bit.
You know, I come from hospitality, and I was a doorman for many years. And I was a doorman in Las Vegas. I love doing it. I love the interaction with the guests. I love taking care of people. I love anticipating needs. I love providing an experience that just blew their mind. And then to get a tip at the end was just the you know, the icing on the cake. But I always knew there was something more for me. I knew that there was you know, a bigger future for me. Not that being a doorman my whole life would have been a bad life, because it was actually could have provided, you know, a lot, and it was providing a lot. But I always knew there was something more, and I just didn't know what. And there was a guy, his name was Rick Foreman of the Alan Waxer Group, and him and I built a relationship over time because he used to do all the luxury pickups at the resort, and I was a door captain, so I greeted him every day in his buses and his people, and we just had a really great relationship. But I'll never forget, he called me a corporate athlete, and apparently some Harvard guy wrote a book on this. I never read it, but I get it. And what a corporate athlete is just somebody who prepares, who executes, who, you know, treats competition with respect, is highly competitive, but respectful, and, you know, plays to win, and plays to win by the rules, and plays the long game, you know, a long career. And so, corporate athlete, when he said that to me, I was like, oh my God, you know, I can still take this hustle on the driveway, the hustle on the baseball field, and I can bring it to, you know, to business. And he connected the dots for me when he said corporate athlete. And you know, I don't take that phrase for granted. I believe in it. And when I challenge my team and people around me to be corporate athletes, to be business athletes, my wife says, oh yeah, but not everybody's an athlete. And it's not necessarily physically fit, although I believe that being physically fit, I always say that, you know, fitness is the first step to greatness. So whether you can, you know, hit a golf ball or a 90-mile-an-hour fastball or, you know, whatever, you should be able to, you know, walk without running out of breath, or go up a flight of stairs without doing, you know, almost passing out. And that all plays into the athlete, right? But your athlete is getting through the day and being able to accomplish your list of goals, and then still have time and energy for your own life. And that's where corporate athlete comes in. Being prepared, executing, taking care of yourself, and being aware of your surroundings so that you can dominate and win.
Yep. Influencer mapping. They're actually maybe not mapping, but I guess kind of speak to the like, yeah, influencers are still around, and they're still, you know, Ashton Hall has millions of followers, whatever, all that. But I guess kind of speak to, you don't need an Ashton Hall to tell your message. I guess kind of speak to that a little bit. Yeah,
so influencers are great. I mean, you know, who wouldn't want to have someone with 35 million followers showcase their brand or service? But those are like unicorns. They don't come around very often, and Certainly, it's very difficult to get, some of these mega influencer, Mr. Beast, to do anything for, us little brands down here in the real world. But your influencers can be your associates. Your influencers can be your customers. It's not just, these people with big followings. As a matter of fact, these micro influencers with, my daughter's one of them. She's got 7, 8, 10,000 people that she connected with that are in her circle, maybe in her college, in her age bracket, that when she puts out posts has influence on, and that is, so if you get a bunch of micro influencers, it could equal, one, mega influencer. So influencers are huge. Having people rally around your brand is huge. That's what Google reviews are all about. That's what, referrals are all about. It's really people championing your business. But what we have found is that people aren't just jumping out of their shoes to be an influencer for you. You have to engage them. You have to ask them. You have to, make it worth their while. But if you do, if you take that extra step, you ask for the review, you get a video testimonial, maybe interview your customers, I think you can leverage that to create better and faster connections with your prospects.
You got Green Hammer case study. We kind of talked about that with the local marketing. I think we touched that. Is there anything you wanted to speak about, or?
I think we covered a lot of ground.
I think we did. Talks about performance match. Yeah, I have one for the Renaissance, but it might make sense to do that one when we're on site.
I'll give you one more kind of YBV update.
Cool.
Am I still in this? Am I in the frame here?
You are now.
All right, cool. Let me see here. Hey, it's like, we're interested in talking to anybody that's interested in having a better online presence. And, not everything we do is high priced. We've got a program for every business and every individual. I mean, we work from individual contributors, service providers, all the way up through big companies. So, we can help your business, we can help you. So if you're just thinking about, improving your online presence, you don't know where to start, you don't know what it takes to get it done, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to chit chat, give you some brainstorming ideas, and if it makes sense, work with you. So reach out to us. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to visit our website, look around. You've got that chat bot, try it out, test it out, see if it does what I said it does. And I think you'll be impressed, but we'd love to talk about your business and come up with ways and strategies to help you. Real quick YBV update. We're entering the summer season. And summer is usually a transition period for businesses. They're coming out of like the boom of the first quarter, and now they're kind of making the adjustments for the summertime. And it kind of aligns with the great reset that I was telling you about. But it's also an opportunity for us to find new prospects, find new customers, find new partners in different industries, in industries that we really have a good handle on, and also other industries. Because I believe that industries that we're not in, we bring a lot of value because we bring a unique perspective. And we bring the strategies that are tried and true with many, many industries that are, you're very familiar with using digital marketing, like hospitality brands, and bringing it to industries like, construction or concrete delivery or environmental consulting. We bring this technology to that. And I believe that when you bring this, digital acumen to certain industries, you see a major jump and boost. Why? Because the competition's not doing it. I was telling somebody the other day, there's nothing more competitive than optimizing a hotel near Disney, right? It's like you got all these hotels and everybody wants the same thing, right? People searching for hotels near Disney. So talk about the competition, talk about the options that people have, talk about the noise that you have to break through to get to that customer. Now imagine your little business in a little neighborhood or a little community, whether it's a landscaping business or a nail salon or a bar on the corner. You only have to kind of reach 10, 12, 15-mile radius. I mean, this isn't that difficult. So what we want to do is make connections with more people, share our story, create this same strategy that we do for Fortune 500 companies, down for small businesses and back and forth, because really it's the same strategy, just a different set of content, but it's the same strategy across the board. All right, so June 2005, a couple of things we're working on. We've got a locksmith. We've got a couple of hotels that are getting ramped up who want to reposition. One of the things that we're finding is these older hotels that have been rebranded, maybe even taken independent, need to really break out and really hustle. I think one of the asset managers told me today we got to swing hard and pedal fast. You know, and as an independent hotel, we don't have Marriott.com to lean on. We've got to really, as he said, pedal fast and run hard. I'm like, you're speaking my language. So we're doing a lot of that now, and I'm finding this little niche of, you know, historic hotels that have been rebranded or a bunch of money's been dumped in it, so now they have to tell a story. To what else do we have on the board over here? Oh, we have an amazing professional golf instructor who's worked with some of the best players in the world, who really wants to target. His tagline is, you don't need to be the best player in the world to work with us, although we've worked with the best. You just have to want to be the best. And I just thought that was, you know, such a great hook. And if we put out that content in the right places, you know, Southwest Orlando, Reunion, Bay Hill, Orange County National, some of these hotbeds for golf talent, I think the message is going to resonate, and it's going to draw in people who want to, you know, tap into that training. So a lot of great things. What else we got on the board here? A lot of usual suspects that are doing more things with us. So people we've been working with for 10, 12 years, reinvesting in their digital environment, cleansing it, optimizing it, you know, adding functionality, streamlining user experience. Just, as I say, plussing it up a little bit. You could have a great strategy, but there's always something a little bit better we can tweak, we can engage, we can optimize so that the experience for the customer, the results for you are just a little bit better. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I think that's it. I think we upload that. I'm going to send it to